Let's look at the neighborhood. We've been tracking what's happening in Myanmar, and the situation is not looking good. The pro-democracy protest has now entered its 10th day. By Sunday, we saw some of the worst scenes playing out in their campaign. The military of Myanmar moved in to crush the protests. Armoured vehicles and trucks filled with soldiers were sent to control the streets. Our next report tells you what followed.
This is Myanmar. Bullets rained on Sunday right here. Dozens of shots fired at peaceful protesters as they ran for cover. It is not clear if these were rubber bullets or live rounds. But the military's heavy hand was in action across Myanmar on Sunday. Armoured vehicles were on the streets as protests for democracy grew bigger. In Yangon, residents are now on night patrol. Locals, part of a neighborhood watch group, beat their pots and pans to warn other residents. In recent days, the military junta has stepped up nighttime arrests. The locals are guarding themselves against a crackdown. This morning, in a bold move, these protesters in Yangon surrounded the soldiers and their tank. For barely a minute, the troops seemed overwhelmed by the citizens. It may be a sign of things to come. The military may still have power, but the voices of defiance are growing louder. Thousands turned up at the headquarters of Aung San Suu Kyi's party when the military leadership extended her detention. Rows of heavily armed soldiers were guarding the building, but the protesters gathered outside, demanding an end to the military rule. In Mandalay, the protesters clashed with the security forces. A range of crowd control measures were deployed, from firing projectiles to slingshots to wielding batons and aiming firearms. The police tried everything. The protesters did not stop. The world has been tracking what's happening in Myanmar. The generals clamped down on social media too. The protesters managed to bypass the online blockades. On Sunday, the military cut the internet, leading many to fear that the protesters will now struggle to get their word out.
The progress happening here, because last night we had an internet shutdown, but in that situation we couldn't do anything at all, that we can't get our news get out of it. So we need to find an alternative way how to cover news from inside country if the military shut down internet for more than for 24 hours.
Within Myanmar, they are getting more support. The civil disobedience movement is gathering steam. Government workers may join the protest. They may not be able to remove the junta from power, but they can certainly keep the military on edge. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.